Today, in the nerdy news you need to know about, the Oblivion remaster keeps leaking everywhere. Shuhei Yoshida was disappointed in the Switch 2 reveal, and Assassin's Creed Shadows is selling like hotcakes. We'll have all this and more because this is Kinda Funny Games Daily. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Kinda Funny Games Daily for Tuesday, April 15th, 2025. Tax day, Blessing.
Oh, is it?
It's tax day.
Oh, God, I'm in
Did
trouble.
you file your taxes?
I did file my taxes.
Did you get a refund or you have to pay?
A little bit of a refund. It's a weird thing where I think I'm going to start going to a person to start doing this for me. Because I usually go through like one of the free websites that are like, oh, do your taxes for you the first year free, and then like as years go, you have to pay a little bit type thing. And like, I think Twitch streaming plus like moving to San Francisco 5 years ago, plus like having to pay state taxes because Washington didn't really have the state taxes. It's been the whole thing of trying to figure it out and just me getting less and less money back. So I think next year I'm going to a guy just to do it for me.
I really wish I knew a scumbag. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, if you do this and you do that and you do that, you can exempt this and do that.
A degenerate.
I'm no tax the billionaires. Why am I getting taxed so much? You know what I mean?
You're telling me you're not a billionaire?
Yeah, I am. I've been wearing this Mizzou sweatshirt for 7 years.
I've seen the Patreon numbers.
God, the amount of times I'm like, I shouldn't buy a new T-shirt. I can't afford this T-shirt in this economy.
It looks good. It looks good.
I know. I
like it.
I do need to get to Columbia and get a whole new Mizzou wardrobe, though. I'll tell you that. Here's what I'll say too, Bus.
What's up?
You and I are handsome individuals.
We are.
Look at how handsome I look. And this, you're handsome. I tell you all the time how good you are. Look at how handsome I look. Go to that shot too, Kev. This shot, great. Go to the wide. That shot, great. Go to this shot though, the one that goes in the Twitch standby window.
Oh, I hate this shot.
I look like such a fucking schlub.
Dude, I hate this shot.
I noticed this yesterday in my blue hoodie too. I was like, man, little fucking troll over here.
See, I had this one time where like there was some sideways shot. It might have been this where I was taking off my sweatshirt, but then like enough of it came off where you can kind of see my tummy. And I looked at it, I was like, oh, I don't like that at all. Get off of this angle. Just show this angle. I like.
Of course, I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside Forbes 30 Under 30, aka New York Game Awards nominated, aka Leftover Poppy, Blessing Adeoye Jr.
How crazy do you think I could go with the cold open before somebody says something? Like if I start typing in just more, because
you had some spice in here. I like this one. Yeah. Selling like hotcakes.
Like as you said, selling like hotcakes, I was like, I wonder if I can take that further.
You could. I mean,
Bless,
it's kind of
throw a
funny.
banana in there. You know,
Throw a banana in there.
That's your thing. I don't want to take your thing away from you, Kevin.
We can do it together though.
I mean, when you say it like that, I'm down.
There it is.
He's got it ready.
Oh my god! I think you go crazy. It's Games Daily. People will expect that. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna do it on somebody who's not gonna question as much.
Roger.
Either Roger or Mike. Because Mike will go with the flow.
Oh, Mike will do whatever.
Yeah,
Mike
won't
won't even understand that it's like being crazy or whatever.
Yeah. Roger, I think we'll see. Actually, that's a good idea. Roger, don't watch this.
Not the Lylander says, I once owed like $20,000 one time based off TurboTax. I needed a professional to sort that out.
See, and that's my fear is like, I use Free Tax USA. And as I'm going through, you're giving me a shake
Don't say
head.
it out loud.
I'm not supposed to say it. I use TurboTax. And like, as I'm doing it, it's like, you'll give me the red. Oh, you're in the red. You're in the green. You're in the red. You're in the green, depending on if I owe or if I'm going to get back money. And as I'm doing it, I'm just like, I don't know. It seems like I'm owing a lot of money until I do the last steps, and it's like, oh no, you're good. And I'm like, you're cutting it too close.
Yeah.
I just want to be fine.
I'm sweating this. As I get close to it. Yeah, I
feel like by next year I'm gonna be owing $1,000.
Plus, I was gonna ask, like, are you writing off as much as you can with like game related stuff for the Twitch thing?
No.
Like, if you have any like,
because I usually get stuff through here. Is the thing?
Yeah, no, I know, but like, if you bought a new computer, write that shit off. You know?
Yeah, but I'm not buying new computers.
You're right.
Isn't the threshold really high? Because I have a guy, and I was really hopeful you're gonna be a scumbag, and I was like, because I remember once, I won't name names, Nolan North.
Yeah.
What are you eating, Kevin? Your mic's open.
It's a burrito.
A burrito? Oh, what's in this breakfast burrito? Or is it a breakfast burrito?
It is a breakfast burrito. Hash browns, egg, sausage.
Where's this from?
Happy Donuts.
Nice.
Oh,
they do
nice.
a breakfast
I love
burrito.
Happy
They
Donuts.
do a lot. They got a big old menu.
They're so good.
Anyways, I remember one time I was having some very adult conversation with Nolan North. And he was just like, wait, you don't write off all this stuff? I'm like, I don't buy them. He's like, I write off movie ticket stubs. I say it's research. I do this.
See,
I'm
and
like,
at that
Nolan
point,
North, you got a good guy. You got a scumbag. And so then I got a guy, and I was like, I'm going to write all this off. He's like, you'd have to hit so many thousands of dollars for that to actually like help you. He's a waste of your time. I was like, oh no. I had this like bag of receipts. I was like,
no,
oh
but
no.
unless you have like Bless does the Twitch streaming, which is like a side business thing.
Sure. But I think I was even talking when I was. Maybe it
but
was
I don't make enough money. Like I don't make enough money to be writing stuff off of the Twitch streaming thing. Is the thing, right?
Yeah,
like
your business could be losing money.
And it might be like, and that's the thing.
Well, I'm saying no, but I'm saying if it's losing money, you can write off a lot of stuff.
Oh, I see. But I'm not buying. That's the thing is I'm not. There's not really anything I buy.
Get a gym membership, and then write it off. Be like, it's got to stay fit for the Twitch streams.
There's no way that's legal.
Oh, 100%.
It's a me BT. $24,000 is the standard deductible, so you need to make more than that to write it off.
Yeah, no, I do not make anywhere near that via Twitch streaming. I make, luckily.
Well, that'd be what you spend.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not spending. I spend maybe $50. Maybe that's about it in a year. Can I write off the $50?
Single player is $12,500. This is a very fascinating conversation for the rest of you and the rest of the world. I apologize. It's just here we are, financing the government. You know what I mean?
After the show,
they're just canceling apartments. I don't even know what I was going to anymore.
They're canceling apartments?
Education department.
Oh, department. Yes. Yeah. Oh my God, everything's going down.
Yeah. Let's have a palate
Stay
cleanser.
safe out there.
As you know,
Jesus,
I have stars in the bank. I went to Chicago. I had everybody write hate mail for Tim. I said I would read it. Tim's not on this show, but Blessing really enjoyed me interrupting the one and only Gamescast.
Yeah, I love it.
So I thought I would give Blessing one just for the case. As you can see, I have not opened this one. I don't know what's in there. This is nice. Where'd you get this stars thing?
It was a crazy ass Games Daily the other day. Why are you guys so out of focus? I don't understand.
I think the camera's drawing the focus down there, right?
Yeah, the camera's seeing the face of the stars in the background. What is
I drew it at random. It starts, not a hate letter.
I'm
sorry you're losing your stars, Tim. Signed by just a girlfriend being a good sport.
Who was this?
AKA Al, it looks like. Oh, well, when you go to a meet and greet. When you go to a live event,
and there's
a lot. People walk up. One is freaking out, and the other is holding a bag. And I'm like, "You don't care, do you?"
I can tell.
They're like,
exactly,
no, I don't.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I respect that.
Well, at least they're very thoughtful of them.
I guess
I like that.
Be a good sport.
Do we get more? I'm down for more of those this episode.
Well, I can't. I mean, I draw them at random.
I feel like
I can reach back in and tell you what I find. You know what I mean?
I mean, no, do the 10-minute timer thing. You don't have to do that.
I don't want to do 10 minutes today. We don't need to.
So we're just gonna do them back to back.
Yeah, it was. Oh, I don't. The whole show isn't about. This isn't about me and my 3 stars that I'm gonna get from Tim that I was robbed of and how I have stars in the bank. This one's from Max in haiku form.
Oh.
Tim is going to lose 3 stars. Miller, Greg Miller. Max, that's a good one, Max.
I like that actually.
Okay, good.
Poetic. When are you gonna cash this thing in? Just end my misery.
See, it's one of those things that I want you to know how great it was to annoy Tim with it. And then when I saw you break during Gamescast yesterday, that's the whole reason the case is here right now.
Oh, God.
The case would not be here if you didn't have such an aneurysm yesterday about it.
God. I mean, I was enjoying it at first just for the fact of like, man, I can't believe, came up with the idea for Stars in the Bank inspired by
completely
nothing else.
Original idea.
Inspired by nothing else. And I was like, wow, it's going so well. Wow, I love that this is a thing that's infecting other shows. Wow, I love that Greg's making a thing out of it. 4 months into this, because he won at the beginning of January. It is now April 15th. And the fact that we're still here and I'll be in the middle of making a point and all of a sudden I'll hear fucking music. And I'm like, great. Now I forgot the point I was making. It was going to be a really good point. And now Greg's here terrorizing all of us.
Luckily, everyone loves it. Just every fan, unanimously loves it. So it's been good about that.
Well, good for you fans.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody loves Stars in the Bank. I'll cash in when I'm ready.
Please cash in.
I'll cash in.
Please cash in.
Every day at the meet and greet, I was talking about it. I was like, well, the best part is that I'm going to cash it in and obviously lose. This isn't me, this isn't scripted. We just know how my luck is. I lose Stars in the Bank when I cash it in. I obviously lose the season finale to Tim, but then when they do Stars in the Bank next season, I immediately win that again.
Of course.
If that's my legacy, I'll be happy with it. But our legacy here is talking about the nerdy video game news you need to know about, because this is Kind of Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday, we run you through the nerdy video game news you need to know about live on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames, twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames, and podcast services around the globe. If you love that and love what we do, we'd love you to pick up the Kind of Funny membership. Of course, with the Kind of Funny membership, you get all of our shows ad-free. That's more than $80 a month. Of course, you get your daily dose of me, Greg Miller, in a series I call Gregway, a 15 to 20-minute podcast about whatever it is that's tickling my pickle for that day.
Whoa.
That adds up to like an hour-long podcast, if not more, each and every week. Thank you. Consider picking up your Kind of Funny membership on patreon.com/kindoffunny, youtube.com/kindoffunnygames, Apple and Spotify podcasts. If you have Twitch Prime, you have Amazon Prime. Or if you have Amazon Prime, you have Twitch Prime, you can give us a free sub there. Remember, they don't auto-renew. They want you to forget about it. Don't forget. If you want to be part of this show and talk about the news as we go through it, use YouTube Super Chats over on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames to be part of it, just like Mellow Fellow is, who said, Oblivion! And then Benny Be Good, who said, #TimSucksButt.
It's going to go on forever.
Housekeeping, we're an 11-person business that's all about live talk shows. Today, after Kind of Funny Games Daily, you're going to get a sponsored Lost Skies stream with the devs. Then after that is the Gamescast. That's right, they're out of order because I believe these devs are international. Gamescast is going to be the Final Fantasy X review with Tim and Mike. If you're a Kind of Funny member, I have uploaded Gregway. It is 20 minutes. That starts with a review of Win or Lose on Disney+. Have you watched this?
No, I've not even heard of it.
Yes, this is my problem and why I've decided I have to be its champion. Win or Lose is a Pixar show. A show from Pixar on Disney+.
Oh, okay.
It is fan-fucking-tastic. I think it's been out like a month and a half. I've heard no one talk about it. I am not your go-to, I know, for TV show reviews. But if I have to, I have to. And I've watched Win or Lose, and I love this very much. And you will love it too. Whether you have a child or not, don't worry about it.
Wow.
Of course, thank you to our Patreon producers, Anatoly Ast, Delaney Twining, Carl Jacobs, and Omega Buster. Today we're brought to you by Imperial, Factor, and Shady Rays, but we'll tell you about that later. For now, let's begin the show with what is, and forever will be, the Roper Report. Time for some news. 5 items on the Roper Report.
A baker's dozen. Yay.
Kevin, why sad,
What's with the attitude?
Kevin, why sad?
He finishes the burrito.
Kev sad.
No, I'm not done yet. No, I just thought too much excitement. I got to bring it down.
How much of the burrito have you eaten?
Like 90% of it.
Show me the nub. Hold it up to the window because I want to know how big the breakfast burrito is.
I think people are hearing Mike, by the way. I'm seeing chat. Everybody's like, so Mike.
Mike, stop saying whatever you're doing.
Kevin just storms out of it.
You have to. I mean, like, it's in the other room. Mike's over there. I mean, like, oh, man.
Mike's singing.
I love tickling my
Apparently,
pickle.
Mike's singing.
It happens.
What do you think he's singing?
Chaperone.
But it feels something really bad.
Chaperone. He's just singing it. He's singing rap unedited.
Yeah, no, he's singing Not Like Us and not editing out any of the words.
Oh, my God. Number 1 on the Roper Report. Leaked images suggest the Oblivion remaster is coming soon. This is Ash Parrish at The Verge. Super chat question for you. What are your hype levels for the Oblivion Remastered? I keep saying the Oblivion like I'm a grandmother, but you know what I mean. Oblivion Remastered. An Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered announcement seems imminent. Images from the game were found in the website files of the developer Virtuous before being removed. The images, which can still be seen on hosting site Imager, included several side-by-side comparisons between the game's 2006 release and the remaster. Several photos show off Remaster's environments, including one featuring an Oblivion gate. There is also an updated version of the game's iconic fire-wreathed logo and box art, including one for a deluxe edition for the remaster. Rumors of an Oblivion remaster cropped up in 2023, revealed in documents pertaining to the Federal Trade Commission's case against Microsoft. Those documents were part of Microsoft's presentation on its then pending acquisition of ZeniMax Studios, which the company bought in 2021 for $7.5 billion. Other games from that presentation included a Fallout 3 remaster, another game in the Dishonored franchise, and something known as Doom Year Zero, which very much sounds like Doom the Dark Ages, which launches in May. According to reporting from The Verge's Tom Warren, Microsoft planned to release the remaster sometime late spring or early summer. Journalist and insider Jeff Grubb similarly reports that Microsoft intended to stealth release the game sometime next week.
Next week?
You and I talked about this at length the last time this came around, right? Of like, if you're doing this, when are you doing this? How are you doing this? Would you just put it out? Because the conversation last time you and I had this on Games Daily was about, well, how big is this? Is it a remake or is it a remaster? And does that influence how you would market and release?
Yeah. I mean, how do you feel about, how do you feel now after seeing some of these images? Because
can I see them again?
These
Kev?
images strike me as more remake than remaster. Like, I'm fairly impressed by the way this looks. Now, they're calling it a remaster on the Virtuous website. There's a fly in here.
Because we're the shit.
Oh, I'm gonna kill that thing. But like when I look at these images, I'm like, this looks substantial.
That looks that looks awesome right there, right?
Which still brings me back to, wow, this is a stealth release. Like, I'm still surprised that this isn't something that you're marketing, something that you're talking about, something that you want to have some kind of rollout for it being an Elder Scrolls remake. You know, I think this would be the thing that would help you bridge the gap between whatever the last Bethesda game is, I guess Starfield, right? Or even if you want to say the last Elder Scrolls to the next Elder Scrolls.
I was going to say, as someone who just launched an Elder Scrolls Online podcast last week, I can tell you many commenters are very excited for an Oblivion Remastered.
Really?
Because that's, comments, first off, thank you all for supporting that show. We haven't talked about it. Fantastic from the Kinda Funny community and the Elder Scrolls community. If I was to say there were negative comments, which there really weren't, but they would be people just saying, release Oblivion now, Oblivion remake. That was like the one thing you saw in there in comments or whatever. The whole thing is still perplexing, especially because this isn't the announcement of it.
Yeah.
Where it's like, again, I look at those images and I'm like, damn, that looks awesome. That looks really great. But it does say remastered, not remake. So if it is just a weird up-res of it, to some degree, I get the cool, it's out now, which of course they've already fucked up, sadly.
Yeah.
Because guess what? You can have nothing nice in video games. Only Nintendo can really do this, and even they fuck it up sometimes. So then I would get, if it's just a prettier version of the same game, go for it. But where we were last time was, they were talking, the rumors were of systems that were completely redone.
Yeah.
And this, that, and the
As
other,
we're reading
blah,
the
blah.
actual contents of the article, they're talking about things that feel way more remake-like, right? Like you are going in, you are changing systems. As we're looking at these images, I'm like, these aren't, that doesn't just look like an up-res. It looks like you've gone in and replaced assets and really brought this up to, like put it into Unreal Engine 5 and brought it up to modern standards as far as what a video game looks like, which is fucking awesome. And I mean, I wonder if this is one of those things that, you know, I'm perplexed about, but in a way, like you are kind of having the marketing cycle through the leaks.
Of course.
You know, like you talk about the comments being there of like release Oblivion remake. Everybody knows that this is the worst kept secret possibly of all time in video games. We've known about this for a hot second, and it's just been being talked about, and they still haven't officially said an official word. Like it is wild how badly kept of a secret it is, but also kind of works in the way of, I'm excited about this. Like, it seems like a lot of what you're talking about, the commenters, right? The fans of Oblivion, the fans of Elder Scrolls are excited. They know, and they're excited about it. So maybe it is a thing that's actually worked in the favor of like, well, we don't really need to pay money on marketing because it's marketed itself. Virtuous accidentally put up the page on their website. Like, cool, we'll just release it and people are going to know because it's Oblivion.
Yeah, I think there's an argument to be made for that. And I think also that sets expectations lower, if that makes sense, where it is the hardest of the hardcore, all of us, people who are listening to a video game news show, people who are paying attention to game news, they're going to know about this. The people who care about Elder Scrolls, period, are going to know about this. And then, it comes out, and if it is just the game up-resed, that's going to be a lot of fun. I've never played Oblivion, so this will be my first chance to jump into it. But then it's also going to be a dated game. Like, think about how far any game has come since 2006, right? That was the year on this one. So you're talking about something that's going to be fun and cool to look at and a great trip down memory lane for people. But if it isn't drastically updated in flex on current gameplay, I saw people talking, I think, the old rumor was they were adding Dark Souls like parries in it or whatever, right? Like, if it isn't any of that, then I don't think getting out in front of it makes a lot of sense. If it is just a very basic, like, we up-res it, it's Oblivion and it's prettier, cool. Like, I'm going to play that, and other people will. I don't know if that would be a Game Pass seller to the mainstream. Again, to people who played Oblivion and walked away from video games and haven't touched anything since 2010, maybe they'd come back for it.
Yeah.
But I'll be fascinated to see what this actually turns out into this. Again, we want your super chats and what your hype level is for it. Kebabs writes in and says, I think they use remake to say, quote, we didn't drastically change the gameplay, end quote. Like, say, Resident Evil 2. I fundamentally disagree with that approach.
Yeah, I mean, I think Bob's means remaster in the way that
I think so too.
It.
Yeah.
But maybe I still think there needs to be a better standardization of how we use the terms remaster and remake and reboot and all the stuff. Right? It's tough because I think we've seen it approached in multiple ways. As far as if you want to look at Bluepoint and how they've done Shadow of the Colossus, right, or how they've done Demon Souls. If you want to look at a Resident Evil 2 situation, which feels like way more of a excuse me, more of a reimagining of what Resident Evil 2 is, rather than just a remake or remaster. Even Final Fantasy VII Remake, that feels like more of a reimagining. The problem is that, like, I don't think we can get a standard way of doing it because of how marketing works. What looks best on the box for Final Fantasy VII Remake is the word remake. You know what I mean? Like, you don't call it Final Fantasy VII Reboot and try to sell that, or Final Fantasy VII Reimagining. You have to call it Final Fantasy VII Remake because that drives the point home, even though you can call it way more than remake technically.
Yeah, of course.
I think something like this being called a remaster, it might be them saying it's not a different game. It's not like, we don't want to say remake and then for your expectations to be out of whack in terms of what this is, because at the core it is the very same game, but we've gone in and done the Bluepoint thing. Even though for us, the fans, we look at Bluepoint stuff as a remake. It is just a weird place we're in marketing wise, I think, with the stuff to where people can't nail down on the same language, and I definitely understand that. But yeah, I look at this and I'm like, that's a remake. That for me is exactly what Bluepoint does with Shadow of the Colossus and what they did with Demon Souls. That's a remake.
Wait, you look at Elder Scrolls,
Oblivion, the screenshots that we're seeing.
Okay, not knowing anything about it.
Yeah. But like, I mean, assuming this is like on Virtuos's website, right? So like, it was
in their web server or whatever.
Yeah, and so I have to assume that this is real, unless there's something crazy shit where it accidentally went up, or like somebody's really trolling us and tricking us.
Ninja Guy Dan writes in and says the Oblivion remaster doesn't have to either be a ground up remake or a simple up-res job. It is likely going to be similar to Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, in which they quote-unquote remade the visuals in Unreal 5, but that is running on top of a modified version of the original engine for gameplay.
Maybe. Yeah. My thing is, I look at those screenshots that we are seeing for Oblivion.
Throw them back up, Ken.
Throw them back up, and there are things that are actively like I think in the second screenshot that was pulled up, there are more arches in the background, right? Like
we've substantially added more arches.
We've substantially increased the amount of arches in the environment. But when you're going in and you're changing actual things that are in the environment,
go to the comparison shot, Kev. Thank you, Kevin. You're doing great.
Like, look at the like bottom two photos.
Yeah,
those are substantially different. Like the shape of the environment.
See, I don't think they're substantially different. They're different, but I mean they're the same. Because look at like the amount of posts on the dock. There's still 4 right there, right? Sure. I know we're covering 1 or whatever. And then you look in the back, and there's the same number of arches in the back. And then you look at like, okay, well, there's the water meets the this Ninja Gaiden Black 2 comparison might make sense.
Yeah, I guess like and like even disregarding the amount of the amount of arches, just looking at the assets of, you went and you replaced these models. Like, you went and you redid a lot of how this looks like. Like, I don't think this is just a.
They definitely added rocks too in the left.
Yeah,
side
like this definitely isn't. No, you changed the lighting. You went in and you redid stuff.
Greg, there's no rocks.
It's likely going to be similar to Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, in which they remade the visuals in Unreal 5, but that's running on top of a modified version of the original.
Mm-hmm.
So it's there's rocks there, but then wouldn't that just mean that it's the same hitbox for the water and the I'm well outside of my depths here in game development. But if it's just a visual overlay, then that is definitely just a remaster. And again, I think that's where it'll get hung up be a letdown, in quote.
Mm-hmm.
To so many people.
If you call it a remake.
You're going to jump back into this game, turn it on, and be like, oh, all the quality of life, it looks great, but all the quality of life that has happened in the last 20 years isn't there. Mm-hmm. And I think that'll be a big turn on.
What would you call Shadow Colossus from Bluepoint?
He's taking off the glasses. That was a remake. Right?
Yeah.
Because that was from the ground up. They went and like looked at the maps and rebuilt things in the same spots or whatever, but like,
yeah,
it wasn't what they're saying. It wasn't what Ninja Guy Dan is saying that Ninja Gaiden Black was, for sure.
Yeah, I guess I can see that in terms of like the how you go about it. For me, as a player experiencing this at the end product, for me the end product is the same as far as what you're doing here with Oblivion and what.
Weren't there quality of life improvements in Shadow though?
Like a few, yeah. They changed some control stuff, but like you can go back in the menus and change it back.
Okay.
But like at the core, like Shadow was the same game.
Sure.
Yeah, like it felt the same. Like the environments were the same. Like if you told me they went and did what you're talking about with Ninja Gaiden to Shadow of the Colossus, I'd probably be like, yeah, that makes sense because it plays the exact same as that old game.
Well, we're gonna have a big problem here.
Mm-hmm.
Roger Picorni super chat and said, I drafted, quote, unannounced Elder Scrolls Oblivion remake, End quote. Come on, you have to give it to me. This is a remake. Come on, please. I don't think you can give it to him. This is a remaster. If it's what Ninja Guy Dan is saying. And I'll need you to step in as commissioner and make sure that happens.
This is
unless
one of those
it scores not well.
We'll see. Okay, a few things are gonna have to happen. One, we're gonna have to get to the official reveal in the drop of this thing.
Yeah.
To see like, all right, what is it actually? How has Virtuous and Bethesda determined this to be? It's seemingly remastered, right? What does the audience consider it to be? And then also, what does the Fantasy Critic website consider it to be?
Okay.
Because like we let Roger slide with Xenoblade Chronicles X Director's Cut or Definitive Edition, whatever the fuck it was called, which is definitively that is a remaster.
That's a partial remake.
That's a fucking remaster.
The website says partial remake, and you guys let it slide, right? And now this one over here, they have different. The rocks are different. The water's different. Everything about this game looks different. It says remaster, but also remember, Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster. That's a remake, but they call it remaster, and there was no option for remaster on the website. So I'm taking it. I
hate this so much.
I'll need the commissioner to step in. in.
For things like this that are very gray, I go with the website. When it's gray.
We're gonna have a conversation.
But
I'm gonna call them.
This will have to be a conversation. In fact, I might call up the people who do Fantasy Critic and be like, "Yo, we gotta have a sit down. All right,
let's call them up right now.
You, whoever is the commissioner at Easy Allies, like the top leagues and the creator of Fantasy Critic are gonna fucking sit down and talk about this."
You gotta have a conversation.
Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition.
You can't take it away though. I got the points. You can't take it away.
I'm not going to take it away because you did draft it based on the fact that it was legal on the website. I disagree with the website there. I think Oblivion is more eligible than Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition.
You got to give it to me.
We're going to have a talk about this.
You got to give it to me.
We're going to have a talk about this. My other thing with this, disregarding the remake remaster conversation, is release timing. Again, this comes back to like Xbox and Bethesda and how they're treating it, and like, it shadow dropping next week. Right now, we're in a pretty busy time for video games. Next week, we're getting Clair Obscur Expedition 33.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, also, I opened up releases.com. Apparently, Lost Records Bloom and Rage Tape 2 is out today.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That came out of nowhere.
Well, I mean, they announced the dates quite a while ago.
Yeah, but I guess, like, I would have expected, like, an email.
There was an email. I got an email that was like hey, when it comes out, your code for episode 1 will give you episode 2 or tape 2. This is the problem with episodic games. This is the problem with episodic games when the first one didn't like get 10s. Tape 1, you all were kind of middling.
We're all
very
right? Middling.
Like, I'll see where it goes, but like
just came and went.
Yeah.
But yeah, April 17th in 2 days we're getting Indiana Jones. Right in a couple weeks we're getting Forza. Like right now, Xbox is in the release stage.
Well, it's interesting again. Like this is back to the argument of like, what do you expect this to do? Oblivion and Elder Scrolls are big titles, yes, big names, yes. But I don't think they expect this to be we're going to take everyone's attention away. Like, Clair Obscur, Expedition 33 next week. Yeah, I played that demo or the preview build, right? And I liked it, but it's turn-based, right? So I'm automatically way more excited for an Oblivion remake just on my own tastes, especially somebody who didn't play Oblivion.
Really?
I'm more interested in that just because, like, turn-based, man, it just ain't my thing. I wish the further I get from it.
But you're like so excited for the preview for
I was, yeah, and I still am. Like I still want to play it. I still want to go in. I still want to try it. I still want to do all these different things. But like, the action, Oblivion, come on. And a game I missed, and now it's pretty and yada yada yada. Like, because
I'm with you there as far as I would like to revisit Oblivion. I'm sad that the timing's not working.
See, I think for me it's good timing.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, okay, I can see me actually giving that a shot, and if it isn't archaic as shit, I see what the hype was about Oblivion. I don't know.
Fair enough. So what's your hype level here?
Interested. Like if we're doing 1 out of the kind of funny scale here, of course, the immutable Oreo scale, I'd be in the 7s. Like I'm good hyped. Again, it's an old game is old situation for me where it's like I've never been drawn back to go back to Oblivion, but like having a reason to go back to Oblivion, sure, and have it look pretty, yeah, I'd try that out.
Fair enough.
But will it stick for me? I don't know. Who knows? And so we had a lot of super chats in here, right? Of this stuff. Tyler Pate says, "Do you think the new Elder Scrolls is so far away that Bethesda can still take lessons from this remaster? I think this might be a test of using Unreal Engine 5 for the new next title. I do think Elder Scrolls 6 is far away, still very, very far away. And so yeah, you could take lessons from this, but I don't know. Yeah. I guess the Unreal Engine part of it, sure, but like, I don't think that's the main thing here.
It'd be pure guessing or speculation, but I could see it being the case of, oh, we wanted to work on an Oblivion thinking Unreal Engine 5 so the studio can get our wrap our minds around how to work within this.
But then is his question of how much is Bethesda Game Studios actually doing with this? It's Virtuous, right?
Oh, you're right. This is Virtuous.
So it's there's an exchange of knowledge there in terms of what's happening, but I don't think it's the biggest thing for it.
Yeah.
Golden Spider says in a super chat, this just makes me very sad for the Skyblivion devs. Just a huge project made by fans for 10 years just to get overshadowed by an official remaster.
Yeah. I mean, that sucks, but also it is the name of the game. When you're hopping into working on a big project that is from an IP that you don't own, you kind of have to bring that in as a factor of, hey, we're working on this thing. There's a chance that the official company might make a remaster or might make their own version. I think if you are able to look at that and still go, cool, we still have the passion to do this, we still want to make this, whether it be as a resume builder or just as a passion project that you think that maybe you could do even better than what they're doing with the Oblivion remake, right? Then still go for it. But I definitely feel for them if this is something that's blindsiding them and it's oh damn, we got to scrap this because there's nothing we can do that's going to be better than the Oblivion remaster. I feel for them.
If
but
you're
that
unfamiliar,
is also a thing
Skyblivion is a volunteer-based project by TES Renewal modding group. We aim to bring the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion to a new generation of gamers and reintroduce it to longtime fans of the series. We're currently in the process of remaking Cyrodiil. Along with...
You don't know about Cyrodiil?
I don't know about Cyrodiil. I never played Oblivion! With all of its quest locations and characters into Skyrim Special Edition. Here's what I'll say. Yes, you're 100% right. I feel bad for them as well. You're working on something, you're doing a passion project, this comes out, yada, yada. It doesn't sound like this is what Virtuous is doing based on talking to Ninja Guy and what we see there, right?
Yeah.
So it might actually go the other way of this brings Oblivion to a whole bunch of different people. They jump in and are like, oh, this isn't Skyrim because Oblivion isn't Skyrim, right? Mm-hmm. And then it's all of a sudden they do hear that, oh, well, this is coming, da-da-da. You're never going to make money off of Skyblivion. So it is the idea of well, here's Oblivion in Skyrim, this giant thing. If you didn't like the remastered version of Oblivion, try this, where it is the guts of Oblivion put into Skyrim, and maybe you try it that way.
Yeah.
Maybe it brings more attention to it that way. But I do understand being crestfallen of oh man, we were trying to do this.
And not to be I guess even more not negative, I guess, but I think there's also the thing for me of count your blessings as far as another Metroid. God, terrible joke.
I love you. Because your name's blessing too. I just meant you're my blessing.
I hate him. The same thing happened to another Metroid 2 remake, right? And they got shut down by Nintendo.
Sure.
At the very least, Bethesda's not looking at Skyblivion and being we gotta crush these fools.
We gotta Todd Howard is.
Maybe, yeah, but I don't see them being we gotta make sure they never see the light of day. Because when you talk about mods and when you talk about stuff like that, Bethesda is one of the companies that for how much fans love to mod their content.
Sure.
And so much so that games like Fallout 4 in the recent Bethesda games since, Bethesda has found ways to implement mods into consoles. That's how much they believe in that shit, right? And so
some of the best stuff being done in a game I really love, Starfield, is through the mod community and what they're doing.
Yeah, and so I think it is really a count your blessings thing of, hey, at least we're not getting shut down. At least this is we're working on an IP that is not ours, and we can see this thing through, even though they're working on their own Oblivion remake thing. But to your point, maybe it's different enough.
And the final one on this one comes from Victor, who says, with his membership for 3 months on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames, if Oblivion launches next week, it will overtake any other game on my backlog. It was my favorite, the Elder Scrolls game. And that's the thing where my hype level is based on how much people love Oblivion and how much I came to Elder Scrolls with Skyrim, right? And so that and Elder Scrolls Online. So to go back and see where not all started, but what so many people love about it, I'm excited for that. Before I get to number 2 on the Roper Report, I'll remind you about number 1. It's you, our fans. We couldn't do this without you, so thank you for your support of Kinda Funny. If you love what we do here in Kinda Funny Games Daily, being a bunch of goons, having a great time, looking at Kevin's thick breakfast burrito, pick up a Kinda Funny membership. You can get it over on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames, patreon.com/kindafunny, and of course, Twitch. No, why do I keep saying Twitch today? Don't get on Twitch. Subscribe over there, but that's a different thing. YouTube. Spotify and Apple. I already said YouTube.
Oh, sorry.
I'm lost in the sauce. We're having too much fun today.
We'll get you there.
We get you all the shows ad-free. You get your daily dose of me, Greg, and of course, support an 11-person small business we love so much. But right now, you're not using those benefits. So here's a word from our sponsor.
This episode is brought to you by Imperial. We've told you all how important it is to developers to wishlist games you're interested in on Steam. So if this game sounds cool to you, make sure that you wishlist it. In Imperial, you play as a mercenary sent to a distant planet to discover the mysteries of an ancient civilization. Powers unknown lie within the monolith, but those are no mere ruins, as an expedition has already ventured inside with only a few survivors. Why was it built? What powers reside within? Who is at the center of the monolith? All these secrets and more will be uncovered if you are brave enough to take on Imperial. Imperial features a unique blend of RPG systems and skill-based combat across 3 weapon archetypes: the acrobatic glaive, the defensive but devastating mace and shield, and the powerfully ranged cannon. With a deep ability system and extensive customization, every battle is an opportunity to refine and optimize your combat style. Form relationships with each of the few surviving expedition members who all have their own personal quest lines. Whether you choose to help or not can have drastic consequences for them. The monolith is guarded by powerful automatons, each with distinct attack patterns and weaknesses that demand precise execution and strategy to be victorious. Create your mercenary, enter the monolith, learn powerful abilities, defeat the automatons, and uncover the secrets that lie within Imperial. Imperial is available May 8th on PC, Xbox S and X, and PS5, but you can wishlist now. Do it! Wishlist Imperial. This episode is brought to you by Factor. Make this your best season yet with nutritious 2-minute meals from Factor. Eating well has never been this easy. Just heat up and enjoy, giving you more time to do what you want. Greg Miller has been loving how simple it is to enjoy his Factor meals as he's rushing between shows each day. I just saw Blessy eating some too. Factor arrives fresh and fully prepared, perfect for any active, busy lifestyle. Factor powers your day with satisfying breakfasts, on-the-go lunches, premium dinners, and guilt-free snacks and desserts. Factor can help you feel your best all day long with wholesome smoothies, breakfasts, grab-and-go snacks, and more add-ons. Multiple people here at Kinda Funny have been loving their experience with Factor, and guess what? You can too. Get started at factormeals.com/kindafunny50 off and use code kindafunny50 off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. That's code kindafunny50 off at factormeals.com/kindafunny50 off for 50% off plus free shipping. This episode's brought to you by Shady Rays. Get ready for the season ahead with quality shades built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered with premium polarized shades that won't break the bank. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company offering a world-class product rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. They have hundreds of options to choose from, so you're bound to find the perfect pair to match your style. If you don't love your shades, exchange them for a new pair or simply return worry-free within 30 days. There's no risk when you shop. Their team are always there to have your back with personal and fast support. Y'all know I've been outside a lot playing Pokemon Go, and it's such a great experience wearing Shady Rays when I'm out and about looking dope. Exclusively for you, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal. Head to shadyrays.com and use code FUNNY for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Again, go to shadyrays.com, use code FUNNY to get 35% off polarized sunglasses.
Number 2 on the Roper Report, Shuhei Yoshida was disappointed at the Nintendo Switch 2 reveal. This is Rebekah Valentine at IGN.com. Super chat, do you think Nintendo played it too safe with the Nintendo Switch 2? Let us know, youtube.com/kindafunnygames to be part of this story. For me. I like that though. It's like wrong, but it's like good. Yeah. Former Sony Interactive Entertainment Worldwide Studios president Shuhei Yoshida was recently asked for his thoughts on the Nintendo Switch 2's reveal, and his response was ... Well, not entirely exuberant. This comes from Easy Allies, which recently interviewed Shuhei Yoshida about, among other things, his reaction to the Switch 2 reveal. Here's his response in full when asked about it. Quote, "To me, it was a bit of a mixed message from Nintendo. In a sense, I think Nintendo is losing their identity, in my opinion. For me, they are always about creating some new experience, like designing hardware and games together to create something that is an amazing new experience. But Switch 2, as we all anticipated, is a better Switch, right? It's the larger screen, the more powerful processor, higher resolution, 4K, 120 frames per second. They even have a hardware person starting their stream, like other platforms do, right? And because it's a better Switch, the core premise of the whole Switch 2 is, quote, we made things better. And that's something other companies have been doing all the time, end quote. Yoshida went on to talk about how if you only game on Nintendo hardware, the Switch 2 is great because it lets you play games like Elden Ring that haven't been available before. But for those who game on other platforms, it's a bit less exciting. Quote, publishers must have known that show last week would be one of the most watched shows this year. Millions and millions of people watched. It's amazing to announce and launch your new game, if you have a chance, but most of the games were ports from past generations. I don't know if this is Nintendo's direction or third party's choice, but one game I reacted strongly to was Enter the Gungeon 2. That looks amazing. They did a great job announcing that there, end quote. Yoshida also praised Drag and Drive for being quote-unquote very Nintendo. Then went on to talk about the system's pricing and differences in pricing between Japan and the rest of the world. He concluded as follows, quote, anyway, with some of the things Nintendo is doing with the camera or mouse controls, creating new experiences, that's great. But other than that, I was personally a bit disappointed because they didn't disappoint everyone. I was personally disappointed. Oh, I see how he's saying. I was personally a bit disappointed because they didn't disappoint everyone because everyone wanted a better Switch, end quote. As the discussion went on, Yoshida acknowledged that Nintendo Switch 2 was a good business decision with technical improvements likely made by very intelligent, talented designers.
I love that Shu is like doing the like podcast
he's
tour.
everywhere.
Yeah, like he's
reacting with min-max to Nintendo Switch 2.
Like he's free from the shackles and now he's like he can do whatever he wants and like he's hanging out with everybody. Mm-hmm. I think this is a very fascinating reaction to the Switch 2 from somebody who's very high up at PlayStation. And also I think I agree with pretty much everything he's saying. And I agree with him mainly because I don't think he's saying this with a tone of like, how dare they, right?
Yeah,
he's not saying this with a tone.
doesn't have a mean bone in his body.
Yeah, like he's not saying this with a tone of like, oh man, the Switch 2 sucks or anything like that, right? Like he's saying this from a tone of like, no, I understand exactly why they're doing it the way they're doing it, but the Nintendo that I love the most is the Nintendo that is weird and experimental and like the drag and drive Nintendo interests me more than the Elden Ring is playable on the Switch 2 Nintendo. You know what I mean? And I tend to agree with that, even though like we're the same people that sit here and complain about the weird Nintendo decisions and all that stuff, right? But like Nintendo wouldn't be Nintendo without the weird Nintendo decisions. And when I'm saying weird Nintendo decisions, I'm not talking about like $80 games,
I know what you mean,
even though that kind of factors into it a little bit. But like more so the weird Nintendo decisions of like, oh, you're giving me these fucking Joy-Cons and you have a game where I have to figure out how many pieces of ice are in my Joy-Con. That's fucking odd. But also it lends to a personality and to a creativity that then leads to things like Labo, which I've seen people like use in cool, interesting ways. It leads to things like Ring Fit Adventure, which ends up being a major success, right? Like that is the Nintendo that I think is super cool because that's the Nintendo that, you know, zigs where the industry zags. And I think that's more exciting. But we all understand why Nintendo is going with the Switch 2 and having it be a bigger screen, more powerful. Elden Ring works. Like everybody understands why that's the route.
For me, Shuhei's an unemployed, washed-up game person. You know what I mean? Why are we listening? I'm kidding. I don't agree. I understand what Shu is saying, but I think that Nintendo in the past has gone far too wide with the zig when you should have zagged thing, right? Where it is the Virtual Boy, where it is the Wii U, which was a confusing message, from the Wii or whatever. Of course, the Wii was industry defining, completely different, yada yada yada. But like for where they're at here with Switch 1 into Switch 2, I think Shu might actually be underselling how revolutionary or how Nintendo it is. That's a better way to put it.
Sure.
Because I do think the mouse controls are a bizarre, weird, they're doing that, and will it be supported? What will it do? Will it lead to different things? Again, we're at the moment one. Oh, I did. That was a really good one. Moment one of Switch 2's announcement. So like, let's have this conversation again in 3 years when we see what their next Labo has been, what games have used mouse controls, what they are doing with all the goofy little tech they talk about that I don't care anything about. Nintendo is still making the weird Nintendo decisions, I think, in the Switch 2, but also just not throwing the baby out with the bathwater. They don't need to restart and go from, all right, cool, Switch 1 was a success. We need to do everything all over again. We can still be that machine. We can still have third-party stuff in there for the people who want that or just want as we all know, they're real games on the go. But Nintendo's bread and butter is being Nintendo first party. And so they're still going to do that. And I do expect those games to use these things and make the WNDs and lead to the next Labo, which you've seen people do cool stuff with, sure. But like, we didn't see Labo sell. We didn't see Labo become this runaway success thing. Like, you still got your Amiibo reader in there. So that opens up the door to some weird ass shit they want to do with that. Fine, whatever. Like, there's those things that are still there. But I think it's too early to be like, oh, this wasn't weird enough or Nintendo enough. I think they're still very Nintendo, and their games speak to that.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from with that. I still think that like the wider zags that they make, right, the Virtual Boys of the world, or like the things where it's like the Wii U's of the world, still end up leading to what end up becoming brilliant ideas, right? Like without the Wii U, I don't think we would have gotten the Switch the way we've gotten the Switch, right? So like, I think you need to take those wide swings, or else like you end up becoming just another one in the, as far as like the PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo conversation, right? Or PlayStation, Xbox conversation of, all right, here's your traditional thing. Like I totally get that the mouse is something that's like weird and different, right? But I'm also looking at that as just another functional way to play a first-person shooter. Yeah. I'm on the wait and see to see like, all right, are we gonna have more drag and drives? I like the idea of drag and drive. Are we gonna get a version of that is even pushing that further as far as what you can do with a mouse? Like, I want the Mario Paint. I want the fully committed, no, we believe in this from a functionality standpoint kind of thing. But for me, like, the mouse is just another feature that's available. Same with like the camera and stuff, where I'm like, it feels like you're just inventing accessories to add with this thing. I'm not seeing the revolutionary side of this or like the core side of this to the product. But yeah, I think right now they're in the place of trying to have their cake and eat it too. Of here are these weird things that we're doing that are a bit Nintendo, but also at the end of the day, like, the Switch is bigger with a better processor. Like, here, have fun, play Elden Ring, play Cyberpunk 2077, have it run well enough.
Shu just wants to see them make the Nintendo Switch 2 into the Vita. All right, bubble interface, a touchback pad. Get out of here, Shu. All right, that's on you, Shu.
The things that Nintendo would
Vita's
do
on you, Shu.
Nintendo would rock a back touchpad. Are you kidding me?
I don't want that shit.
Oh man. They'd make an 11 out of 10 Mario using a back touchpad.
Number 3 on the Roper Report. Assassin's Creed Shadows is 2025's second best-selling game in the United States of America. Assassin's Creed Shadows. Where did this come from? Is it just Matt?
Oh, sorry. No, this, I believe, is VGC. Let me double check.
We're going to say it's VGC. We're going to say it's Jordan Midler. Sorry, Chris Scullion. Assassin's Creed Shadows is the second best-selling game of the year in the U.S. so far. That's according to data from Circana. The game trails only Monster Hunter Wilds in the overall year-to-date sales charts in the U.S.
You nailed it, Jordan Midler.
Nailed it. He's big. Circana's Matt Piscatella noted that Assassin's Creed Shadows has been the best-selling game in the U.S. for each of its first 3 weeks on the market. Matt's Blue Sky reads like this. Here's a fun one. Assassin's Creed Shadows has been the best-selling video game in the U.S. for each of its 3 weeks in market, according to Circana's retail tracking service, Dollar Sales, latest data through April 5th. Currently ranks number 2 year-to-date, only behind Monster Hunter Wilds. While the game suffered a protracted development, which included several delays, strong reviews and positive player sentiment has seemingly turned the game into a modest hit for Ubisoft. The game was a hit in the UK too, shifting more physical copies in 1 week than fellow Ubisoft game Star Wars Outlaws managed in 3 months. Assassin's Creed Shadows is also the biggest physical launch of the year, ahead of Monster Hunter Wilds. According to data provided to VGC, Shadows was the series' second biggest launch ever.
Wow. Ubisoft is saved. We did it, everybody. You can keep your company.
Chad, I want to know, are you playing Assassin's Creed Shadows? Did you like Assassin's Creed Shadows?
How does it feel for you for like your top video game franchises being on top? You know, Monster Hunter and Assassin's Creed, number 1 and 2.
I want to put Assassin's Creed that high on my list of things.
I mean, the franchise. You love Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, here and there, right? I loved Odyssey.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And I loved Assassin's Creed 2. And I love Brotherhood. So it's like, I have an affinity for Assassin's Creed, and I like open world games like that. But this one didn't work for me, right? Like, I tapped out on this one. I was like, this is just the churn. This is what people, I think, say they don't like about Assassin's Creed. And I'm like, I feel it in this game, and I walked away from it. So I'm happy. I'm happy people are connected with it. Obviously, I want people to enjoy the games they play, and I want success for developers and et cetera, and so on and so forth like that. Monster Hunter Wilds is a game I adore, a franchise I would say I adore. The fact that that's on top for the whole year, that's awesome. Yeah. And even last night I was playing, and it was like, I was running like random stuff, just trying to clear out my quest log, doing stuff. And the fact that I was jumping in and then like immediately getting people joining me, I'm like, this is awesome. That I'm playing in a Monster Hunter weeks after launch. And I not like Monster Hunter's not popular, but I'm weeks after launch and like I'm not hurting for people. People are on playing with me. That's awesome.
This might be an impossible question to ask, just because it's gonna ask you to do a lot of work to think ahead.
love that.
But outside of Call of Duty sports games and GTA 6, do you think there's anything that's throughout the rest of the year that's going to overtake Monster Hunter in terms of numbers? Is there anything that immediately pops in mind for you? This might be a question in chat as well.
I mean, it's hard to. I would. And you said no Call of Duty, no GTA.
Yeah,
no sports games
for sales numbers. I guess. Maybe a Nintendo. Well, no.
I would say
because
no,
it's
man.
launch with Switch too, so I don't know what that's going to look like.
People are saying Night Rain. I don't believe that. I'm not shit-talking Night Rain. I just think
Monster Hunter.
Monster Hunter is a more approachable. I say this loosely. I think Monster Hunter is a more approachable game than Night Rain. I say that, but Joey got super into it. Borderlands, no.
Ooh, yeah, Borderlands is an interesting one.
People are calling out, Mario Kart and Pokemon, but are we disqualifying Nintendo's, or are we saying that?
We can bring in Nintendo, because that's a weird one.
No Switch way. They're not going to get enough Switch 2s out in the market.
Yeah, Switch 2 units I don't think are going to sell enough to then also have Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Mario Kart World, and then Donkey Kong.
People are calling Pokemon ZA, and then it would have the Switch base, so yeah, that would work.
Oh, yeah, then
Switch
Pokemon for sure.
Switch
then
one. Yeah.
Pokemon makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see it having this honor forever, by the time we get to the end of the year. But it's super awesome that it has it this far.
I mean, the fact that like it's Capcom's fastest selling game of all time, right? Like, it's already getting all the success it needs to as Monster Hunter, but it is very cool and fascinating to see Monster Hunter's rise to these heights. Because I think to your point of it being more approachable compared to something like Elden Ring, Night Rain, like I disagree just for the sense of there's way more Elden Ring like action games out there, right? Like I think the Souls-like action game is more approachable than ever nowadays because like it's become a way more popular genre. People have been able to wrap their brains around how those work. And anecdotally, just for me talking about Monster Hunter, I've played like in my life maybe 20 hours of a Monster Hunter style game between Monster Hunter Wild Hearts and previous Monster Hunters that I've tried. That shit does not click with my brain, man. That is such I don't understand like how this works, what I'm supposed to eat at the right time, like what pace I'm supposed to take these things at. Like that's fair. That's an unapproachable game for me, but still speaks to its audience. Which is huge.
And the audience keeps getting bigger.
And the audience keeps growing.
That's fair. I'll be interested to see Night Rain sales versus Monster Hunter Wilds.
Yeah.
If
I'm betting, I think I'll still put Monster Hunter Wilds above Night Rain for sales. I think Borderlands 4,
I could do it.
It's tough because that comes out in September, so you have a smaller margin of time to get there. But I'm not sleeping on Borderlands. I think people are going to show up to Borderlands.
Yeah. But I'll be interested to see how. I mean, there's a big Borderlands fan base, I guess. Period. Just in the statement, but how that's going to compare to Borderlands 3, and how Borderlands 3 would have compared to Monster Hunter Wilds, if we're talking about like not life to date.
You know what? This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to look up sales for Borderlands 3, and then I'm going to look up sales for Monster Hunter World.
I like that a lot. While you do that, Kevin, I'm going to ask you to go to assets, pull this up. As everybody knows, I am a Monster Hunter fanatic, both in Wilds and World. And now. The Now is the mobile version. Today with their spring update, I was into Now getting my Easter Bunny stuff on, and they have this. It turns out now if you use a referral code, you get little tokens to unlock stickers and stuff. I've gotten many of you have used my referral code in the past. I'm now asking you to do it so I can go get all of these stickers that I would like. I'm not gonna get the cat ears probably. So if you want to go to Monster Hunter Now, whatever, I guess this is my Blue Sky, and then use the referral code T22CJ5V6. I would like that. That would help me out because I want to get all the stickers.
So this is a tough one. I forget what year Monster Hunter World came out. Was that 2018?
Or 17.
Or 17. Here's the thing, and keep me honest, chat, and you're wrong. By 2023, Borderlands 3 sold over 18 million copies. 2018. So from 2018 to 2023, that's a 5-year period. Borderlands 3 sold over 18 million copies. Monster Hunter World. Monster Hunter World came out in 2018. 2019 would have been Borderlands 3, so that's a 4-year period. Monster Hunter World, which released in 2018, by December 2024 had sold 14.9 million lifetime. So Borderlands 3 does have the upper hand there.
Okay.
But it's a new era.
It's a new era.
New generation.
And again, what is the hype level for Borderlands 4? I feel like it is not what it was for Borderlands 3. Granted, we're still a ways out.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
I think Summer Game Fest will be telling.
Okay.
I also wonder if we're speaking to the core gamer audience of like the Kind of Funny audience.
Yeah.
Because Borderlands is so mainstream. So it would surprise me for us to get there and for it to still not sell gangbusters for how many normies love Borderlands.
Okay.
I don't use normie as a pejorative.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Nobody's offended. The normies aren't watching this show.
That's true.
Poe doesn't watch this show. He doesn't know what they're talking about.
They ain't fucking watching this show.
Jens FC super chats and says 100% agree with Bless. Monster Hunter is hard to understand. Nobody was arguing otherwise. No, I'm not.
You said it was approachable. You said it was the easiest game. You said it was just like Mario. Anybody can play it.
Ben, my 3-year-old can play it, but I don't know what your problem is, Jen and Bless. Number 4 on the Roper Report, The Last of Us Season 2 premiere sees strong viewership, outperforming the first season. This is Evan Campbell at GameSpot. There were reportedly 5.3 million people in the U.S. who watched the Season 2 premiere of The Last of Us. The same day viewership topped Season 1's debut over 2 years ago, which saw 4.7 million people checking out the HBO series. According to Deadline, HBO noted that the 5.3 million same-day viewers for The Last of Us Season 2 premiere represents a 10% increase over Season 1. The debut episode of the show, which is based on Naughty Dog's video game franchise, has now been seen by 32 million people. That's apparently the most ever for an HBO and Max series premiere. In 2023, The Last of Us saw the second biggest debut on HBO since 2010 when Boardwalk Empire launched. Hell yeah, Boardwalk Empire.
Good for them.
Only House of the Dragon has started off stronger with almost 10 million viewers watching the Game of Thrones spin-off premiere on opening night in 2022. Blessing drops in slightly related headline from today. The Minecraft movie blockbuster train continues as it clears $550 million according to VGC.
Video game adaptations.
We're here, man.
They're out here.
Yeah.
Just killing it.
Is the Minecraft movie good though? Or doesn't it doesn't even matter,
know.
right? Like it's a kids movie, so who cares?
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like it's the kids movie, and the vibe I get is that the kids are fucking with it.
Yeah. They fuck with Minecraft, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
They're bringing chickens to the theater.
Chicken
They're
jockey.
throwing popcorn at the screen and shit. They're acting crazy in there. And that's all you really need to do. Like as long as
that's all you need to do to be a success.
Yeah, as long as you can make a movie that has kids throwing popcorn at the screen, like you're fine. There's a bigger conversation we got to have, maybe not here, but like about video game adaptations and movies and TV and shit, because like the trajectory, the stocks are only going up. It feels like
big time.
Everything else in the world is going down.
Sure.
But right now, the only thing that's promised is that roguelike games continue to be killer, and that video game adaptations continue to skyrocket.
1,000%. You're doing it. Yeah. Good for them.
When are we gonna get the Fortnite movie?
God, you can't be that far.
Like a Fortnite movie, a Roblox movie. Only Up, the television show.
I mean, Only Up, I feel like you would do is like The Floor is Lava.
Oh,
doing Only Up on Netflix or whatever, right? With like the giant padded room or whatever.
Yeah, you have to like connect everybody to like bungee cords or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Fuck, we just did it right there. That's the show.
That's a really good idea.
Call us, Netflix, and we'll get the rights for Only Up. Blessing the fact that video game adaptations are killer and The Last of Us was so good. Of course, watch our screencast review for The Last of Us episode 1 of season 2. It's up right now on the screencast, the in review feed, right? And up on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames. And we'll do one for every episode each and every Monday. Anyways, the fact that video game adaptations are so great and are doing so well is big news.
Yeah.
If I wanted something smaller, where should I go?
I think you're better than that.
What is up with this? Why are you both attacking me?
I think you're better than that in transitions. You go to me and Tim be busting our asses with these transitions. And you're just out here.
You could have just said they're so big.
You go to our last news story, the Wii News channel, where we cover all the small news items you need to know about.
Number 5, the Wii News from VGC. Nintendo Switch 2 pre-orders will reportedly begin next week in Canada. According to Bill Kuhn, who has a history of posting retail listing information ahead of official announcements, Canadian retailers are preparing to begin pre-orders for the Nintendo Switch's next system.
Oh yeah.
But when will we get it in America? How much will it cost? Who knows? From GamesIndustry.biz, Gamers Group, the media company behind websites like .esports, Twinfinite, Prima Games, Silicon Era, and The Escapist, reportedly made more layoffs at the end of the week.
Hate to see it.
You do hate to see that.
It sucks.
Even though it's shocking that like there's people still laying off. I don't even know what's going on at The Escapist anymore. Doesn't matter. That sucks. Hearts go out to everybody who's affected. You have a new Xbox Game Pass games announced. On the 15th, you'll get GTA 5. On the 16th, you'll get the Patrick Star game. On the 17th, you'll get Crime Scene Cleaner and Tempopo. The 24th, you will get Claire Obscure Expedition 33.
Let's go.
Let's get a super chat involved right here, where El Captain 22 says, does Expedition 33 developers look at this, and he was talking about Oblivion releasing next week, and say, what the fuck, Microsoft, considering that it's coming next week, and while on Game Pass, PlayStation 5 players would have to buy it or possibly play Oblivion? Buy it or possibly Oblivion?
I mean, what are you gonna do? You know, like Oblivion has to come out at some point. Like, it sucks that they didn't market it, I guess, to give them warning.
Again, the fact that they're not promoting it more, they're just apparently shadow dropping it, even though it's the worst shadow drop of all time. I just don't think this is going to appeal to a certain gamer. I think Expedition 33 is going to appeal to a certain gamer. Yeah, they're both RPGs, but they're different kinds of RPGs.
Yeah.
There's different things happening there.
But I think there's something
From the Expedition 33 preview we did, that is a game that's like, oh man, this feels so modern, and I'm actually actively blocking, and I'm doing this thing. And it's
like Expedition now is more comparative to something like a Metaphor or like a Persona or something like that, right? But like with an interesting take on it. I do think there is something to be said about Claire Obscure having a day where it's like, this is Claire Obscure Day, right? Like everybody's talking about this. I think for in Oblivion to come through and kind of suck some of that like conversation up might suck, but also like that's the game. No pun intended, or pun intended, sorry. That's the game. As far as how releases go, how rollouts go, how marketing goes, like sure you can be sad about it, but I think Claire Obscure is going to be perfectly fine with Oblivion launching the same day. Like I don't think it's going to be a big problem at all. As long as the game comes out and it's great, it's going to be fine.
I think it'll be fun. April 29th, Towerborn comes to Game Pass, and I'll tell you, as somebody who pays attention to video game news and his email and games here and there, I don't know what the fuck is going on with Towerborn.
Dude, I'm right there with you.
There's like 5,000 emails for the past 4 months about Towerborn. I got Paris Lilly putting up screenshots with Phil Spencer last night in Towerborn. Yep. Well, you're telling me Towerborn still isn't out until another fucking 14 days?
If you ask
me... So it's early access right now?
I know so much about Towerborn. Let me take that back. I know the name Towerborn so much. I don't know shit about this video game. I don't know what this game even looks like.
What's going on?
I just know there's hype for it. Good for you.
Good for you, Towerborn.
Proud of you.
May 1st, Anno 1800 comes out. The 2nd, you get Modern Warfare 2. The 6th, you get Dredge. And jumping back to April 30th for some reason, you get Far Cry 4.
Blame Noble.
I blame Noble. Ubisoft made its colorblind simulation tool Chroma available for public use. Dune Awakening has been delayed to June 10th. How does that sit with you? That's the MMO you are?
Yeah, I mean that's like 3 weeks.
Okay.
I think I'm upset. Stop releasing more games in June. June's packed. It's closed. Stop releasing games in June.
We gotta go to SGF.
There's too many. Death Stranding 2, SGF, Switch, rematch. Stop it with June.
Is Death Stranding June?
Yeah.
Oh wow. I thought for some reason I had September on the brain. I must be thinking of Metal Gear back in the day. When's Metal Gear?
August.
All right. Now, who needs the game's super fun list? I got blessed right here. Yes, Your Grace Snowfall launches May 8th on PC. And I'm not going to sneeze. Shotgun Cop Man launches May 1st on the Switch and PC. We did it, everybody. That's Wii News. We asked people who are watching the show to be part of the show with their YouTube super chats. Many of you have done so, and I want to read through them. A lot of them in the front are very jokey jokes. Omega Buster says, when will Greg stop hiding the truth? The streets are saying he planned for Tim to be out of state because he was running scared. Hashtag save the stars. I covered this in my Chicago show, Omega Buster. Thank you for coming. Oh, wait, you didn't. That's why you don't know the answer. And I'm waiting on the video file to see if I can ever get it up. So who knows? Noah writes in, it says, the Chicago meet and greet was my first one ever. I was super nervous, but it was awesome. I'm so glad I got to leave Tim hate mail. Me too, Noah. And thank you for coming and supporting us and knowing all about Stars in the Bank. DJ Kento writes in with a super chat and said, I had a blood vessel pop in the back of my eye about 2 months ago, and I've been half blind ever since, ... And even I can see, Tim, your time has come.
Are you okay, DJ Kento?
It's me, everybody.
Is it going to heal? Like, is that permanent? Let me know. I'm curious. Now I'm like concerned.
You never know if it's a truth then mixed into the bit or if it was all part of the bit. DJ Kento, let us know.
Let me know.
It's Topher 9000 super chats and then says, does 3-star emoji with the arrow pointing to home in the bank. I got the 3 stars in the bank, so they're coming home with me. Non-binary bomb says, win or lose is the show that cut a trans storyline after the last election. Hashtag Disney are cowards. Hashtag trans rights. Well, I love win or lose and don't know anything about this, but yes, in fact, of course, trans rights are human rights, and trans stories should be represented everywhere.
I got so much beef with the entire country. Like, just for the sense of, like, fucking Target is like, we're going to remove our DEI initiatives. Like, everybody is. And I'm like, weren't y'all the same people 5 years ago, June of 2020, that changed your profile pictures to black? Like, get your shit together. And everybody's sitting here like, oh, you know, like, well, Trump's president now, so we're just going to get rid of all this shit. You guys fucking suck. I hate y'all.
That's true. Sergio came across, Super Chats and says, playing through Last of Us 2 for the first time, so I came across a Gamescast from Bless's Up-and-Comers Week. Crazy to see how far Kinda Funny has come, especially since I started watching Kinda Funny after that in early 2020. Thank you, Sergio.
Thank you.
Gregbot says, is AVP in review back next week? Also, I believe Greg should get 6 stars instead of 3 for Game Showdown. I love you, Bless. Heads up, I should probably get 6 stars instead of the 3.
Think about it, I guess.
And then AVP is back next week. I believe last week I was gone. This week Nick is gone. And then next week we're all back. Don't hold me to that. I'm looking at the schedule. I'm looking. And yeah, there's a screencast. Yeah, it should be fine. We'll figure it out. Don't worry about it. We're getting back to AVPPP. AVPPP. Ashish says, Tim will lose. I believe in Greg. Parentheses, maybe. I appreciate that.
There's so much riding on you cashing this thing in.
Do
you feel the pressure? Do you feel the heat?
No, because the pressure would be like, oh, do you think you're going to win? But when you ask me, do I think I'm going to win? I'm like, oh, do you think the sun is going to rise tomorrow? The answer is yes, it's going to rise tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Just like I will rise from the ashes and claim the 3 stars that are rightfully mine in the blood pack.
I really hope you tied him up or something.
I mean, I tried to do that. I thought I could just get the stars with him not being here. That fucking sucks. PokeDude97, a.k.a. Max Georges, says, Minecraft is one of the worst movies I've ever seen, and I love Jack Black and Jason Momoa. So that's not great news. Max Lem Game says, love the sticker, Bless. Made my day seeing it. Of course, Max brought us all stickers.
Yeah. I believe Max is talking about the I paused Zelda to be here sticker that I have on my laptop.
They brought him to the meet and greet. I brought him home, and here they are. And the DJ Kento rounds out the super chats by saying, the I thing is true. It's clearing up. Feels like looking through cloudy water right now. Doc says 2 more months, and it should be 100%.
Oh, thank God.
God damn, DJ Kento. As somebody whose blood vessels pop in his eyes all the time, I'm not in the back though. Usually,
yeah, yours pop on your eye. This is in his eye.
I know, this sucks, dude. I'm so sorry about that.
That
super sucks.
He's looking through cloudy blood.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't want to hear that, Kevin.
Hey, at least he's gonna get 100%. That was what I was most like concerned about. So,
no, you're wrong. So that means, ladies, gentlemen, NBs, that's another episode of Kinda Funny Games Daily in the bank. Remember,
I want to shout out. It's me. BT said, where did the Poctillos sticker go? Too many people kept commenting on it every single time, and I started to feel judged. It's like took it off is what I did.
I love that a lot. This has been Games Daily. Remember, each and every weekday, we run you through the nerdy video game news you need to know about. If you like that, of course, watch us live, twitch.tv/kindafunnygames, youtube.com/kindafunnygames, podcast services around the globe. If you really like what we do, please pick up that Kinda Funny membership. Remember, you give us $10. We give you all of our shows, $80 a month, ad-free. Of course, you get a daily dose of me, Greg Miller, that adds up to a 1-hour-long podcast each and every week. And, of course, you have a good time supporting us, getting good karma, and having fun. Speaking of support, we're going to roll from this right into a sponsored Lost Skies stream with the dev. Then you'll get your Gamescast all about Final Fantasy X review with Tim and Mike. But for now, we'll say thank you for watching. And remember, until next time, it's been our pleasure to serve you.
Good handshake.
I got him.